Hey guys, welcome to your Success Club reward call. Congratulations on hitting Success Club in August. And for those of you that are catching the replay, thank you for watching the recording. And those of you on live, thanks for being on live. It's always nice to have a little live audience here when we have a guest speaker. I am so excited to have our guest speaker today. She has honestly impressed me since the first time I ever saw her walk in the room. She just has a confidence and an air about her, but yet at the same time is so humble and so incredibly sweet. It is no wonder to me why she's been so uber successful in this business. I know that her body's rocking. You've probably seen her on lots of Beachbody art and graphics, especially if you're part of the live team at all. I actually don't know her stats. I do know that she was Elite 2015, so that means she's at least a 5-star. And I'm so sorry. It totally left my mind to get the rest of her stats. But she's also she's a wife. She's a mama to 2.5 or 3.5. There's one in. Yeah, okay, so she's got 2 and 1 on the way. So super excited for her to have another little bundle of joy later in 2017. So anyway, I won't ramble on anymore. I will hand the call over to Natalie Tuman, and I cannot wait to hear what she has to say today.
Thank you so much, and don't worry about it. I'm nothing to write home about as far as that, so it's not a big deal at all, I promise. But thank you for asking me to be on. I'm excited to get to talk to you guys. I love getting to connect with other teams. It's fun because, I talk to my team all the time. It's such a fun thing, and it's just really refreshing to get to connect with other teams. So I'm excited to talk to you guys today. If you were at Super Sunday, I don't know, I guess it was almost a year ago, you've probably heard some of this because I touched on a lot of this. So some of it might be a replay, but there'll be some different stuff added as well. So hopefully you can just take away a couple of nuggets to help you with your business. I know you have an incredible leader in Amanda, so you've got all the tools, but maybe you can grab a nugget. So just a little bit of my background. First of all, I'm nothing special. Like I said, I'm a super small town girl. Like I grew up in a town of 1,000 people. So, like we didn't even have a stoplight. There's still not a stoplight there. It's ridiculous.
Me too.
Yeah. So it's like, and it's in the middle of the Oklahoma Panhandle, like BFE, middle of nowhere. But that's where I grew up, and that's my home. But after college, I moved here to Dallas. My professional career, I was in pharmaceutical sales for about 6 years. After that, I was in business development for Texas Health Resources here in Dallas. I was in their business development team for 2 years, working part-time. The thing with my career was pharmaceuticals sucked. Like it just did. There was nothing glamorous about it. There was nothing great about it. If any of you have been a pharmaceutical rep, or if you've even looked at them and think, oh my gosh, they've got it so good. They don't. Like it's miserable. People are jerks to you all day long, and you're basically an overpaid UPS driver or UPS carrier is all that you are, because you just haul boxes everywhere and people don't even like you. So it wasn't that great. And I got pregnant with my daughter, and we were going through, my company was merging with another company, so there was a possibility of layoffs, and they called it raising your hand, so you could volunteer to get the severance package and get laid off. So I was like, I'm out, pick me, please pick me. And so they did, and so I got laid off when I had, I guess my daughter was about a year and a half, and so I got laid off that January. Yeah, she was a year, so I got laid off in January. And I decided I had just signed up with Beachbody, like just signed up. I signed up in January. I got laid off later in January. And I don't have a great story of why I even joined, to be honest with you. Like there's not a great story. I wish that like I had this life-changing thing and I was like, I just knew it was right. Like I don't. I have no idea why I signed up. I met Heather Dixon at a Turbo class, and I was just so excited to have Turbo and Prosper because I used to have to drive to Plano to go take it. So I was just excited to get to take Turbo. And went up and told her that. And then she asked what I did. Long story short, she asked me to go to Kristen Jones' house and work out with her the next day. So here I am, like with a complete stranger, don't know what the hell I'm doing. And I'm in a car with this girl and going to another stranger's house to go and work out. And it was insanity, and I was hooked, and my life was changed. I said yes. After a lot of skepticism though, like I was super, super skeptical because again, coming from the pharmaceutical industry, you're sued for everything. Like every ingredient is a big deal. Health I was in the cardiovascular division. So health was a really, really big deal for me. And I kept seeing all these people, get treated with all this medicine, but yet not changing their lifestyle. And so it was a big deal to me. So super, super skeptical of it. But I did a lot of research and I ended up saying yes. And when I started, not only did I not have a why, like I have no idea why I was doing this, but like I started all wrong. I started so wrong, it was ridiculous. Like I didn't even know what Success Club was until I had been in the business for almost 2 years. I finally figured out what Success Club was by being at a Super Saturday. Like I didn't know anything. I was just clueless. I was that person that threw up Beachbody all over Facebook and people unfriended me. My cousin told me I was ridiculous. It was just a hot mess. I didn't know what I was doing. And here I thought I was going to be super successful because I had all this sales background. So I was like, I got this in the bag. Like I'm going to do great. Well, no, because this isn't sales, I mean, yes, it is, but it's such a different industry. And so it took me a long time to find my way, a very long time. And so I kept plugging away, and I in that interim between when I started and about 6 months later, I got offered a position at Texas Health Resources that was just too good to pass up. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to go back to work, but I did. And it was miserable for the entire 2 years. So, because my heart wasn't in it, I was figuring out with this Beachbody thing, and I had become a personal trainer, and I was starting to teach classes, and I figured out that that's where my heart was. So when you're doing something that's so unfulfilling, but yet you have something that just fuels your soul on the side, it's a really hard balance. I can remember sitting in my car and like I would cry, and I would call my mom and ask her to pray with me on the phone just so I could get through the day at the hospital. Like it was just awful. And so finally in 2012, I realized like I was making enough money to pay for our mortgage. And so I told my husband, I was like, look, if I can do this for a legit 6 months and prove that like it's not just a fluke, what do you think? And we decided that, yeah, it would be a good call. So that's what we did. And so in July, right before Summit of 2012, I turned in my resignation, and I've been a full-time Beachbody coach ever since. But my business did not take off then. It took a while for it to really start growing. Again, because I had it all wrong. I was doing all the wrong things. And, it wasn't until leadership at Dana Point, I don't know how many years, was that 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, I guess, now 3 years ago, that it all kind of started shifting. Like things just started churning. And that's when my business started to really grow, and I grew more than anything. Like I grew and I changed. So I just want to share with you some things that I feel helped my business, and also kind of give you a few, little leadership tips that I've, found that have been helpful for me. So first thing, and this is straight up from Super Sunday, if you were there that day, but is number one is finding your pillars. I talk about this all the time. I try to instill this with my team. I tell new coaches this. Every call I speak on, I try to tell people this because it was something I was not good at and I wasn't doing. And that is, I used to be so embarrassed, or not embarrassed. I don't know if that's the right word. I don't know what the right word is, but I wasn't confident in what I was doing. I have confidence issues anyway. So it's really funny that Amanda said I walk in the room and I'm confident. That's kind of funny. So I have confidence issues anyway. And so I was always scared and insecure to post certain things on Facebook. Like truthfully, until about 2 or 3 years ago, I never even posted a picture with my face in it. Like it was always just below, and I don't show my body ever. You'll never see me without a shirt on. Like, that's just not me and what I'm comfortable with. And so, figuring out my 5 pillars and those things that are true to me and that I can be confident with and be 100% okay with, that has helped me so much. Like it's helped my business. It's helped me attract the right people. And it's helped with my confidence because these are things that I know are me to the core and I won't apologize for them. And so I suggest that, that you do the same thing, find your pillars, find 5 or 7 things that are 100% unapologetically you. And that's who some people call it your avatar or branding. And I don't want to turn, especially if you're talking with a new coach, like I don't want to turn new coaches off on trying to figure out their brand and all of that. Like I just want them to find out who they are, and what their pillars are and what they stand for. And putting it in these terms, I think helps them, and it helped me. So I'll just give you an example of mine. First is faith. I used to be extremely shy to post about my faith because I was like, well, what if someone doesn't, what if that offends someone, and they won't follow me or they won't like me because of my faith. And then the more I realized that was like, well, if they're going to judge me on that or not like me because of that, like that's not necessarily my problem. I can't control that, And So I became okay with posting on that. So my faith, my family is hugely important to me. I kind of lump fitness with Beachbody and health because I do love it. Like I've always loved working out, except in college when I really liked Taco Cabana. But I've always really liked working out and, just what it gave me. And, I used to be afraid to post on Beachbody because I had gotten so burned because I did everything wrong, but learning to share my journey through Beachbody and be open about it has done so many great things for me. And then of course there's coffee, peanut butter, and wine. So if you follow my page, I can promise you that every single solitary post you ever see I say every single, 99.9% of my posts will fall in line with one of those pillars because that's me. And therefore, if I'm talking to that, then those are the people that I'm also going to attract. They always say, your vibe attracts your tribe. And this is a perfect example of that. So I encourage you to sit down and figure out what your 5 to 7 pillars are. Tell your team to do the same thing, make it a fun exercise on your team page or whatever. And ask them hey, let's all share what our 5 to 7 pillars are. Don't freak them out by trying to make them figure out their brand because then they're going to start coming up with a logo and colors and everything. And they don't need to get distracted with that. They just need to figure out, who they are. Okay. Number 2 was personal growth and staying the course. I used to turn my nose at personal development all the time because I was so sick of hearing it. But I think that was because I wasn't doing it, right? So it's like people are always shining the light on you and you're like, oh, geez. But, that was something that I was not good at and I wasn't carving out time for. In my power hour, I didn't make that a priority because to me, that wasn't going to move my business forward, right? I need to be on the computer scrolling Facebook is way more time effective than reading a book and fueling my soul and my mind. And I had it so backwards. And so, I started making it a commitment and now I'm kind of a personal development junkie. I absolutely love it. I crave it. I get up before the household does every morning, except for lately because I'm super tired. But I usually get up before the household every single morning and I sit in my chair right there and I read my Bible and my devotion and then I do my personal development all at once. And it just gets my day and my mind set for, everything that's coming. And, that kind of ties in with staying the course. If there's something lacking, we always have to go back to the basics. And one of those basics is personal development. And another basic is tracking your business. If you feel like something is lacking, you've got to work on you and you've got to track your activity. And I still do this. I was in a really big funk. And as soon as I started tracking my business, everything turned back around for me. And it's just, it can seem so simple. And if you're a more seasoned coach, it kind of seems annoying and I should not have to be doing this. But you have to figure out where your activity is. And when things are, and they stink and they're just not going well, you just have got to go back to the basics. You've got to do your personal development and you've got to stay the course. You have to stay consistent. Disappearing for a week when, things suck and life is rough is not going to do you any favors. I promise you. I'm going to give you a very real example because this is going on in my life right now. Last week was one of the hardest weeks that I've had. I was super sick. I was, had terrible morning sickness that lasted 24 hours a day. On top of that, I had a cold. And then I had an extremely big scare on Thursday that has left me mentally crippled almost right now. And, I had 2 choices because to be honest with you, I don't want to show up. I don't want to motivate people. I don't want to try to make others feel good. I have no creativity right now in my head. I don't want to show up. But a couple of things on that. When things suck and you pull back, your business will suffer, period, end of story. It just will. Yes, it's okay to slow down. And I did. Instead of 3 posts a day, maybe I was doing 1 post a day. And that's okay. That's the glory of this business. And you need to embrace that, take advantage of it. But just shutting the door and walking away and disappearing and not showing up can be very detrimental. So just show up, even if you don't have your A game on, just show up. Just let people know that you're there. Be real, be honest, but stay consistent. That's one of the biggest keys. So just personal growth and staying the course. That way when things are great, y'all, the momentum will just take off. And you've got to fuel yourself because if you're not, you're going to get burned out. And to be honest with you, I didn't do personal development last week because I felt so crummy that I didn't even want to do that. And, it has such an effect. So that's point number 2. Number 3 is developing a team culture. And this kind of ties in with 3 and 4 about a team culture and kind of leadership shift. So, I was on the brink. I hit elite in 2014 and 2015. So in 2014, kind of towards the end, it was actually in November at Platinum Edge. I was with some of my coaches at dinner, and it just kind of dawned on me, like we were on the brink of being a 5-star elite team. We were really pushing for it. And yet I was still in my uplines team page, didn't have my own team page. I had personally sponsored coaches, like just my coaches in a page, but I didn't know what I was supposed to do with it. And there was just no form of camaraderie, unless like I knew you and we connected, we talked, there was nothing there. And so I talked with them, and they were craving that team culture that they didn't feel they had because the upline, was so far up and they just didn't feel connected in there. And so just something as simple as that, as starting a page for my team, for my entire downline, was such a huge shift that I had no idea even needed to take place. But the way I lead is very different from the way my upline leads. And my personality and yours may be very different from your uplines. And so having a place where you can be you and lead with your leadership style and connect with your team is super important. They need that from you. They need to be able to rely on you and to have that culture from you. And it was a game changer. We set up expectations within our team page, kind of what we just, like it's a pinned post actually in my team page, kind of what you can expect. And I tell them, like, you can expect to be celebrated and supported, and lifted up and encouraged. And, but also what's expected of you is to do the same thing for others. If someone is given a shout out, we expect you to comment. If someone is new to the team and is welcomed, we expect you to welcome them with open arms. Like, so we have this set expectation that we are more than just, coaches. We're a family, we're business partners, like we're doing life together. We may be all over the country, but we're doing life together. And it's important to bring that culture into our page. Because also you have to realize, like, everybody that joins as a coach kind of has different needs, right? Like some people just join because they just kind of need a place to fit in. They just need to feel loved. They just need that community. They will never grow a business, but they need that camaraderie. And that's okay, because as a coach, you won't work with them one-on-one, but you can offer them that love and that piece of community. So having that part of your culture is super important. Others are going to need to be pushed and, want to grow a business. And so having that piece is super important. So just really making sure that you have some sort of team culture for your team in particular is super, super important. And that was something that I was lacking and didn't have. And as soon as we implemented that, it was a total game changer. So I just highly recommend that you think about that. Number 4 is a leadership shift. So, with that, I also had a leadership shift because there became more responsibility on my shoulders, which was a great thing. Like I was craving that, but I didn't really know how to do it. And I still don't, like I struggle with leadership all the time. It's my biggest downfall right now. Like I'll give you an example. I have more than enough elite points to hit elite, right now, but my rank is just not there. And so I didn't make it to leadership this year. And like, it's enough to make me want to crawl in a hole. And like, I was pissed about it. I cried about it, but like, I don't have anyone to blame. It's my business. I'm responsible for it. And so there's a leadership gap somewhere. And so figuring out that leadership gap, regardless of where you feel, because I think we all have leadership gaps somewhere. And it's just figuring that out and bringing that into the table and being honest with your team about it too. So one thing that we did on our team was an I do, we do, you do. And this is especially important for new coaches. For us personally, like we run a free group the second to last week of every month. And most people run their own. However, I take it upon myself that for any of my new personally sponsored coaches, and let's be honest, like a lot of regular, other personally sponsored, but I don't open it up to my whole team because I kind of feel like it just gets to be too much. But I do open it up to my personally sponsored coaches and for our free group for that 5 days. And I run that for them. I have such a great, I just have such a system, like it just runs like clockwork. So I just pre-schedule the post, give everybody the menu, and it's done. So it's simple enough for me, but yet they're learning on their side. So that's the I do part. The we do part is we then obviously try to transition them into a paid challenge group. And so I invite them to run that with me. I tell them I'm not going to do all the posting. I'm not going to be solely responsible for this, but let's team up. And again, this is usually with like 1 or 2, maybe 3 brand new coaches who I know are wanting to work the business. I'll do this with. And then from there, I tell them, you know what? You did it. Like you just ran this group with me for a month. Let's see what you can do. Go out, invite people, let's see how you can do this. I'm here to help you. But I think, it's a great way to give them confidence to be able to let them run their own. So if you can do something for them, do something with them, and then make them do it on their own, I think that their confidence really excels quite a bit. And another thing with leadership shift is I was really bad. I still get stuck in the habit of trying to pull dead weight, right? Like we all try to pull dead weight. Like you see so much potential in people and it's like, but there comes a point in time and, you can't. Like you just can't pull dead weight anymore. It's beating a dead horse, whatever you want to call it. Like you just can't. You have to constantly be adding new blood to your team, and you have to constantly be working with a willing. Because the minute people are not doing their work and pulling their weight, then it's pulling you down. And there's someone else that needs your time and needs your leadership that isn't getting it because you are so focused on trying to work with the unwilling that you just think should be working, or you think that they need this, or you think that, they want it as badly as you do. And so you've got to find those people who want it as badly as you do and work with them. And if you don't have them on your team, then you just got to add more people. That's the biggest thing, we all know at this point, like it's pretty much a numbers game and you just got to keep adding someone somewhere. I haven't found them yet, but I'm hoping they're out there. There's going to be some rock star builders, that are going to come onto your team and they're going to blow it out of the water. And so you just have to keep pushing until you find them. So it's kind of where my leadership shift happened, was figuring out like, I'm not going to do everything for everybody all the time. I'm also not just going to totally sit back and try to, let everybody run my business, and think that my business is still going to be okay if I'm not stepping in. So having that I do, we do, you do type of deal. And then also just learning to work more with the willing and consistently adding to my team instead of just sitting sedentary and trying to work with what I have. And the last thing that I have for you guys is events. Events have been such a huge, huge part. And I think that, you'll hear from any super successful coaches, like when things really changed for them was at an event. There's so many life-changing things that happen at events. I mean, hell, I learned about Success Club because of an event. Like I probably would not even know what Success Club was to this day if it wouldn't have been for an event. Like I had to teach my upline what Success Club was. So like you've got to get to events. It's just so, so important, and I said that 3 years ago at leadership, is when things changed. I don't know what would have happened if I would not have been at that event. And to be honest with you, I didn't even qualify. This was back when, as a coach, you could invite diamonds to come with you. So I just was blessed enough to get invited to go along. Like I didn't even qualify. And so that event was such a huge eye-opening experience for me. And I swore I would never miss another one, which I totally lied to myself this year. But, it was such a shift. And and the thing is, like, when Super Saturdays and Super Sundays are, you get them in your back office a year in freaking advance. Put them on your calendar. Like, they're on my family calendar in the kitchen. I put them on there the minute that they're in the back office because that's my job. Like, Super Sunday, that's just mommy going to work for 3 hours on a Sunday, and I know it sucks. I know it's on a weekend. I get that, but that's your job. Like this, you get paid pretty darn well to, do what we do. And so, that's your job is to be there. Summit, making sure that you go to Summit and you encourage your team to get to Summit. Platinum Edge, and you guys are platinum presenters. That event is incredible, and so getting there and getting your team there. And then if leadership, or even the new new leader conference, like if you're in the running for that, y'all, push and get there. It is so worth it. So worth it. Those events are just incredible. So, events should just be a non-negotiable. I know you can't make every single thing. I get that. I know that, we're human and life happens, but events should be a priority and take them for what they are. We're really lucky to have such great events. So that's really all I have. My 5 kind of tips that kind of help me turn my business around that I hope you could grab a nugget from somewhere. And I can answer any questions about I'll have any questions too.
Thank you, Natalie. That was awesome. If there's a couple things I just loved. I've been preaching, and it's so funny because I haven't done this call for my team, actually, the call that I did for you. But, about tracking and sticking to those basics and slowing down and not quitting. But I love when you were talking about the I do, we do, you do. I was just listening to, I don't remember. I listened to so much, I can't remember which one it was. But I loved this story that they gave about it with nursing. And I know we have a couple nurses, they're not on right now, but they'll catch the replay. And in nursing school, they operate under learn, do, teach. And so I love that. It's so similar, but like first you're going to learn it. Watch me do one. And then, and it's cool to think of it as nursing, but it works in our industry too. And then do, like, okay, I'm going to watch you do it. And then the next time you do it, I want you turn around and teach it to someone else. And I know that, too, as a fitness instructor, the best way to learn something is to know that you have to teach it. Yes. And so I think if we go in with that mindset with our team saying, hey, you're going to want to remember this because you're going to be teaching this, the next go round or when you bring someone on, I think that is such a powerful lesson in how to duplicate what we're doing.
Yeah, I love that. I love the teach part. I like that. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I love what you're saying about events too. It made me chuckle because way back when I qualified for leadership when it was in Dallas. Yeah. And this was years and years and years ago. Success Club was one of the requirements to attend, and I had earned it. But I remember somebody talking on the stage, and it was probably Carl or Sandy Budana or somebody like that. And they said something about Success Club, and I happened to be sitting next to Toby, and I was like, what is Success Club? And he looked at me and he was like, you're kidding, right? And I'm like, no, I have no idea. What are you talking about? He was like, Success Club. And I remember him scratching it down on a piece of paper, like doing like 1 point for this, 2 points for that. And I was like, I'm like, well, that's really cool. He's like, you realize you've been hitting Success Club if you're here. And I was like, no, I had no idea. Like, I was a 2-star diamond at that point because I think it was 2-star and you had to have been hitting Success Club or something, and had no clue. So that totally makes me laugh because had I not been at an event, I probably would have gone another year.
It used to just be Shakeology on Home Direct because we didn't have challenge packs. Yep. So Shakeology HD was 1 point, and you had to sign a coach every single month. Like that used to be Success Club.
Yep.
And I was, so it's like.
Isn't that funny? Huh? It was hard, and it really put that pressure on to be adding coaches too.
Yes.
So yeah, I would love for you guys to be able to ask Natalie some questions before we let her go. So feel free to unmute yourselves and ask. I know Aubrey's hooking up, so I know she's got a question here.
Natalie?
Yes.
Okay, so you mentioned talking about your leadership gaps, is figuring out where your leadership gaps were and being honest with them, with your team, and addressing them. How did you handle really truly discovering what your leadership gap was? B, how did you present it to your team? And then C, how do you feel like the gap is getting smaller based on that? Would you share a little bit about your experience?
Yeah, to be honest with you, like I'm still trying to figure it all out, because there's something missing. I'm doing a group with Josh Coates. I don't know if you guys have heard of him or listened to him. Is anyone in his current Building Your Legacy in his group? Okay, so he just did a call last night on this, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. I listened to it last night before bed. And he gave 5 levels of leadership, and I think it's from John Maxwell.
I just shared this in the STARS group. Is it the S's?
No, it's it's funny because I have it right here. It's position or title, and then permission leader, production, people development, and then pinnacle. And it dawned on me last night, like, he said that like title is where you just kind of, a lot of that can be management, or like when you get to diamond, like you think like, okay, I don't have to do any of this and I can train everybody now. So it's kind of using your title for leadership. And he says it's all in succession, right? You've got to master one, you've got to master this, and you've got to master that. So one, like I'm good with. Permission leader is number 2, and that's where you have to be friends with your team, right? Like I'm your friend now, like you care more about them, you're adding value so that they can trust you. And I've got that, right? I'm good there. 3 is production. And he says a lot of people, a lot of leaders will get stuck in position number 2, just that friendship. Like they won't ever push for results, push their team toward results. We get stuck in that friendship. And I've been guilty of that for sure. So I know that I'm getting better with 3, but I'll tell you where I'm really struggling with right now, and that's people development. And that's level 4. I feel, and this is for me personally, like when people have a problem, like, I don't know, I just do it. Like I just did it, like I taught myself how to do it. I didn't have a training, like I figured it out. So I just am like, when people are struggling so much, I struggle with how to help them. Like, I don't know how to help you get to diamond. You just freaking sign coaches. Like, I don't know what to tell you, like that's in my head. Mm-hmm. So I struggle with that. And so I know that developing my people is where I struggle with. Okay. So that's to answer. I know that was a super long answer, but that kind of gives you the background on how I'm in the process of figuring this out. So I think I've identified that. Like that's my struggle. How have I told my team? I just recently started, this was in the past 2 weeks, I started a group, and I'm so sick of starting so many Facebook groups that, like I tried to do a message thread and it needed its own home. And so I'm starting a group called Team Leader Bus. Like you're either on the bus or you're off the bus. There's no in between. You don't have to stay on. Hop the heck off if you want to hop off. But these are the people that like you're going, you're pushing, you're ready to go. And so I did a video in there. And when I found out, I kind of had a feeling I wasn't going to hit leadership, but like when you really like it sinks in and you didn't get the dang email, so I did a video in there and I just said like, I didn't get to leadership. Like, I feel like I have failed you as a leader. I feel like, there is something missing that I'm not able to teach you guys how to grow beyond where you are now. There is something missing. And so I told them, I said, but I can either stay right here and stay pissed at myself and dig this hole and get deeper and have a negative attitude about it. Or I can say, we're turning the tables now and we are going. Like, I don't care what you have to do, but we are pushing from this moment on. So that was kind of how I shared with them. And also something else I've done, I should have told you, this has really been impactful. And this is kind of what got people on the bus. I didn't know how to share my vision with my team. Like I remember like Julie Vorks and Summer Tucker and all these people, they always talk about they shared their vision with their team. I'm like, what the hell are you saying? Like, how do you share that vision though? And I struggled with that. And so I just finally said that to my team. Like, I struggle with this. I don't know. But I realized like I've never told my team what my goals are, my personal goals are. I didn't share my vision with them. So they didn't even know what bus they were going to jump on. Like, how would they know if they want to jump on this bus if they don't even know where the bus is going? And so I did a video on that. And I actually even did a team call on it, sharing my vision. I did a video first, kind of saying what my goals were and a little bit of my vision. And then I actually did a team call and really dug into, what my vision was and where I wanted this team to go. And that it's not just about me, but I know I can't do it alone and all of that. So I think that set the stage to bridge that leadership gap, and then telling them that I know I have failed. I can't pinpoint where, but I know that I've done something that's not clicking and that it's time to move. So if that, you know what I mean? Like, that was kind of how I did part 2 of your question. And then what was part 3? How has it been received? Is that what you said? Amazing. Like but the thing is, I'm going to be real honest. And I think if you have a team, you can probably relate to this. Like, people receive it really well, yeah. But what the heck are they going to do with it? And so right now it's been received very well, but it's also a lot of the same people who keep saying the same things, and yet they don't ever move. And so Josh touched on this on that call last night, because I think we all have those people. And it's just like, at some point, it's like, are you doing the work? And if they can't show you that they're doing the work, it's like, then I can't keep investing time into this. So I actually do power calls now. I do every other week. I have a group on Thursday and they alternate weeks. So I think I have 5 or 10 people that I'm working with throughout my downline, and they're 15-minute power calls. They have to send me their tracker in order to keep our call. And then, I just give them 15 minutes to kind of figure out what went really well the past week, what they're struggling with, and what I can hold them accountable for the following week. And so clearly these are the people that, like, if they're not going to do the work from the week before, then I'm sorry, we'll have to reschedule. And that kind of irritates me because it's like I've blocked off my time, but at the same time, I need them to realize, like, I know everybody has different goals in the business, and I'm okay with that. Like, if you don't want to do that part, totally okay. But don't say you're on this bus, hang out in the community bus. I'm cool with that. I still love the people on that bus, but this one's going, so it's finding that balance, I think, too.
I want to jump in because, Natalie, I'm sitting here like nodding my head and thinking, like, you guys, success leaves tracks. And if you tuned into yesterday's call with me, are you hearing like the echo? Natalie is echoing everything that we talked about yesterday. If you haven't listened to the recording from yesterday, I sat down and I casted my vision with you guys. I shared my goals and our team goals and where every person in this organization fits in them, because that was something I was not doing either, Natalie. I wasn't doing it because I'm in my head and I know where I'm going, like, duh, right? Like, why hasn't everybody else figured that out? Because I wasn't casting that vision. I love that. And then, I totally have to talk to you about leadership because I think that that's so interesting, because what's funny, you have the points, you just didn't have the rank during the specified time period. And what's crazy to me, sorry guys, this is totally off topic, but only interesting probably to Natalie. Crazy to me, I had enough points in the rank, so I'm going to leadership, but there's no way I'll hit elite this year at all. And it's so odd to me to think about how, I know they have to have like some sort of system set up, but it's so crazy to me that, like, we both hit elite last year. I have no chance this year at all, but you won't get to be at leadership. There's something off about that.
Well, and I even, messaged Brittany because I'm like, I'm ranked 114 in the company right now, and yet I'm not going to leadership. Like,
God, that's insane.
There's just, something's not right. So yeah.
Yeah, totally. Cause think of all the people that will have the rank by the end of the year.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know that I will, and that's part of the thing, Aubrey, like with the leadership thing, like I'm trying, we said as a team, we wanted to be 10-star, but the thing is too, like most of the people who want to jump on that bus and push for 10-star, they're like deep in my downline on my strong side. I'm like, hey, like I want you there. I do. Like, I want to help you reach your goals, but it's not, it's so hard. It is so hard. And being a leader is tough. And, figuring out, because I take it so personally that I can't figure out 100% where that gap is and how I'm feeling them and how I'm not leading them to diamond. Like, I cannot for the life of me figure out that gap. So I'm still working on it, to be honest with you. Like, it's.
Thank you for being so honest about that, because I think there's several of us who are currently on this call, I'm speaking for myself personally, who know we have leadership gaps. Maybe we kind of know where they are, but don't necessarily know how to fix them.
And that's, yeah.
Thank you for being honest.
Yeah. Look at John Maxwell's 5, because he was calling it your leadership live. So look up John Maxwell's 5 levels of leadership. Mm-hmm. I was going to look it up. He said it's a book. I think he has a book of it. I have so many John Maxwell books, but I don't have that.
Well, it's funny too. That was the other thing I was going to say. I don't think anybody that's on this call right now was on the Rockstar call yesterday. I don't know if you guys listened to the recording or not, but it was while the training that I did yesterday on the call was something that came to me while listening to John Maxwell's How to Influence People. And I feel like I figured out for me the difference in when my business was growing and when it wasn't. And I won't rehash it now because I literally go over it in the call, but there was kind of like 3 points. And it was kind of piecing all of that together and realizing you can't just do one of the 3 without the other 2. You have to be doing all 3 well at the same time on multiple levels. And so I get it. And what do you do with that, right?
Leadership is tough. It is. It's super tough.
Anybody else?
Thank you. I needed to hear that today. I went through like a serious funk last week, and even like had a team call with my team on Sunday, and I was like Debbie Downer. I was like bitch. And I had to apologize after, like, that's so not me. And I'm clearly going through something as a leader and I can't put my finger on it. So also thank you for being true and honest and real. Last year, my business did really well. I ranked really, really high. I had a lot of elite points. I was ranked in the top 150 for most of the year. And I was diamond, and I ended the year 2-star. And now I'm back to diamond. And it's frustrating to not have that rank when you feel like you're doing the steps that you should be taking to see success, but success isn't following. So clearly there's a disconnect someplace. We just have to figure out what it is.
Well, and it's frustrating too, because you always hear speed of the leader, speed of the pack. And
Right.
it's like, how much faster can I go? Like, I don't know,
Got little legs that don't move that fast.
Yeah, like I'm signing coaches, I'm hitting Success Club. Like I don't know, like how, if that's what I'm supposed to model, okay, doing it, like what now, So I think it's a struggle, and I wish I knew the answer. And it's like, that's what I'm constantly in search for, is for that answer on how to bridge that gap. Because I don't know, it's a constant guessing game. So I'm trying this team leader push. I don't know if it's going to work. I have no idea. I know for a fact, like all the diamond pushes and drive to diamond groups and all that I've done doesn't work for my team. I don't know what the deal is, So I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm not investing my time and my energy and my heart and my soul and my get all excited like, hey, we're gonna have diamond. No, we're not, because you all dropped out, So it's hard.
I think a lot of this business is throwing shit on the wall and seeing what sticks.
Yeah.
And it doesn't stick next time, and you got to throw more shit.
I like that.
Well, and just because one kind of shit stuck doesn't mean it'll stick next time.
Right.
Yeah.
It changes so quickly, and
It depends on who you're throwing the shit on,
That's true.
whether it slides off or whether it
sticks.
It's true.
a lot of shit. I wish I could shit. Can we maybe talking about shit will get my system moving with this stupid.
Are you on the ultimate reset, or what are you doing?
Yeah.
Reset.
Day 20.
Oh, sister, you're there.
God bless America. Where is the
Days
food?
and you get to go poo. Drink your coffee and go poo.
That's what I said.
Hey, I have a question about, you were talking about how you do free groups.
Mm-hmm.
Are those just challenge groups, or are they like coaching groups? Do you have like different themes every month, or you kind of run the same thing? What do you do with that?
I usually do, this is for customers, like I do it for customers, and it's usually a 5-day lean out is what I've always called it. And it's a meal plan that I designed. I have a nutritional certification, and so I used that to devise a meal plan. And that's what I've used, no lie, for probably like 2 years, maybe longer. I don't even know how long I've used it, forever. And so I'm actually, crazy enough, changing it up this month. So I'm doing a group, I'm calling it Soup, Squats, and Soul. And so it's going to be a soup recipe for every day, a squat workout every day, and then some sort of gratitude exercise each day.
Love that.
Just to try something different, because to be honest with you, like I needed the change, right? I've been doing the same thing for so long, and yeah, people that do it, it works, but I've lost joy in it. Like I've lost the excitement for it. It's just... So I do that. Now, as far as coach groups, do you mean like coach sneak peeks and things like that? Is that what you mean?
Coach sneak peeks, or even some of the little trainings that you were talking about you did with them, like little.
Yeah, I do coach sneak peeks. We do one once a month, and I go back and forth between a 3-day and then a 1-hour event on Facebook. We used to do a 5-day, that fizzled out. Then I went to a 3-day, and then I started trying the live events, and those went really well for a little while, and then they fizzled. So now we've done the 3-day a few months. And so, we're just kind of, it's, again, seeing what's going to work. I have no idea on that. And then for training, for my team, what I do, I have it in my, like on my team page. In fact, can I share my screen real fast? Is that okay?
Yep.
And I'll show you what I have. What, Facebook, seriously, what's my social? So this is my team page, and in the photos section, there's a photo album that is called Rock the Basics, and this is where my new coach training is. And so like they click on start here, and then right here is the training for that. So that's how I do my training for my new coaches. And it's pretty basic, nothing special. I can kind of run you through the topics. This is telling them to do their open for business post, and starting to add to their network. I teach them what being an active coach is versus inactive coach. And
don't you feel like, bottom line, it doesn't matter where your information is. We're all making it available. There's not a magic secret to like having it on of course, having it on a website is going to be great in case something ever happens to Facebook or you're locked out of your groups, whatever. But I love that. That's awesome and it's pretty. But that's not the secret to, you know what I mean? Like,
well, and the thing is, I ran so many new coach groups, like every month, new coach training. And again, it was one of those things that I would invest my time and my energy. And then it's like, sometimes people would respond, sometimes they wouldn't. And I was like, you know what, if they want it, they want it, and they'll do it. And so now I tag them in that pinned post. It's in the pinned post at the top of our page, and they work their way through it. And I check in with them.
Or if they ask you questions, you say,
I'm like, have you done that training? Yeah,
I was literally, I was just telling the girls the new coach training. It's kind of funny. It was like, okay, I'm on the right track, because that call yesterday, her topics were exactly the topics I just put in my new coach training. And it was funny. Then I had a new coach texting me, and every question she had was covered in one of those videos. So I was like, okay, that's validation in 2 areas. Like, one, someone else is doing it the same way, or same topics anyway, not same way. And that's what a new coach is asking me. And I was like, bottom line, she's either going to get that information there or she's not.
Right. But it's all there. That's how I do that. Like, that's my free group, and then how I do coach sneak peeks, and then training.
Love it. Anything else? Okay.
Questions, but thank you so much. That was really, really, really useful, because I know I have a lot of gaps, and I have for a couple of years. So yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Reassuring just to kind of own up to the gaps and being the reason for it, and then go from there.
I'd be interested, I want to look up that book of John Maxwell's and see like if there's more.
I went to look up something about John Maxwell the other day. Do you know how many books that man has written?
Really? Just
good luck. There were like 60. I was like, oh my God. Because I was looking for the S thing that I shared with you guys the other day. Siphon, survival, synergy, significance, whatever. There's like another 5 levels of leadership with S's instead of P's.
Well, maybe that's what his is. That might be what this is.
No.
Maybe he just kind of said it differently. I don't know.
Well, maybe that's how you write 60 books. I don't know. but it's funny. I was like looking for it, and I was like, oh my God, this man's written a lot of books. So I couldn't really find it. But okay.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Natalie. I hope you feel better soon.
I appreciate that.
Bye, guys.